Alright, people have been asking for it, so here it is. My guide on acquiring research nodes. ArenaNet has doubled down on this currency for the new Secrets of the Obscure expansion, which makes them all that more important. These were already a crafting component for things such as the Ritualist's Armor, Jade bot cores, and Generation 3 legendaries. And one of the most popular uses for them in the new expansion is for rift hunting, as you'll need quite a bit of them to craft Kryptis Motivations. If you want to know more about those, make sure to check out the guide I published earlier. There are a few ways to obtain research nodes, and it very often involves making a choice. Do you want to be as cost efficient as possible, which might require a few extra steps, or do you want to get it over with and strike a balance between cost and convenience? Before diving into the cost efficient strategies, let's take a look at some of the more convenient ones. In general, research nodes can be salvaged from crafted items, although some exceptions do apply. One of the most convenient but not cost-effective ways is to salvage the output whenever you're leveling up one of your crafts. You can directly select the option to salvage the resulting craft into research nodes when you're at a crafting station and the item is salvageable. As stated, this is not cost-effective, but can be convenient if you want to level up some of the crafts. Another really convenient but rather expensive way would be to salvage ascended crafted items. Don't go and craft the items themselves though. See, when you get an ascended item to drop, it isn't directly salvageable into research nodes. But if you stat swap them in the Mystic Forge, you will be able to salvage them. The convenience with this method is that they output the highest amount of research nodes, but you lose an ascended item along the way, which may or may not be a big deal for you. If cost is a concern, you'll once more want to refer to the fast farming website. They continuously update the cheapest way to acquire these nodes. Currently, the cheapest you can get them is for around 81 copper per node. This requires crafting armor and salvaging the output directly. One very important thing is the price column though. Sometimes you'll see the item is from the trading post. And before you start buying those in bulk, check what price they're actually mentioning on the website. Very often someone is selling an item at a much cheaper price, but the very next item sells for double or even more. If you buy a big quantity of those, you'll be overspending. The reason why ranking cost per node might not always be the most convenient way is that the cheapest option might only output one node, or as is currently the case, around 5 nodes per craft. And you may or you may not know, but if you craft thousands of items, it'll take you quite some time. The pace at which you craft speeds up the more of the same item you're currently crafting, and it resets back once you're done. But the speed up is not infinite. So if you're going to craft, let's say 1000 pieces of gear, be prepared to sit there for a while. And if you want some entertainment in the meantime, I highly recommend a YouTuber. I think he's called Fandrel, and I hear his videos are pretty much okay. Now, if you're not content with the cheapest option because it takes too long, but you don't want to deplete all of your gold either, there is a compromise that can be struck. The fast farming website has a few handy filters you can use. As of late, I've very often begun filtering for items that output over 40 nodes per salvage. It costs me about 1/3 more per node, but I'm done about 8 times as fast. Whatever is going to be the best method for you depends on whether you want to go fast or whether you want to spend as little as possible. Or maybe you like even farming for items to salvage instead of opening up your wallet. And in that case, one of the easiest items will be rings and earrings. It's already notoriously cheap to level up jewel crafting, which is capped at level 400. And there's plenty of mithril you can go and gather in the open world. And when gathering, you'll also naturally acquire the shards, crystals and orbs to craft these items. The same could be done with cooking, as you can directly gather most of the ingredients as well. This might come out cheaper in gold spent, but requires a time investment of course, for which people will be very eager to point out that I'm forgetting about the opportunity cost. And while probably true that the best way is to do the most profitable farms to make gold instead of gathering items, if you prefer the latter, I'm here to say that is more than fine. Now, there's one more method that I haven't mentioned, which also involves crafting. If you're the lucky owner of an Endless Upgrade Extractor, which costs a small fortune, there's some shortcuts you can take. If you're wondering how I acquired mine, it's sheer luck. I like doing map completions, and at some point I was doing 3 full completions a week. And I got one with one of the Black Line chest keys I got as a reward from completely exploring a map. Anecdotes aside, if you own the extractor, you can craft mithril rings and earrings, but don't instantly salvage them. Instead, extract the gem inside and salvage the empty ring. you'll still get the same output of research nodes, but you just saved yourself a considerable part of the costs, as you can infinitely reuse the gems this way. People who own the Endless version know what a pain it is to use though. So while it's more cost efficient, it's all the way down on the convenience list. If you don't own one, don't buy the regular extractors from the gem store or anywhere else though. It's only worth it if you have the Endless upgrade. These are the most common methods. There might be some other niche cases, and I'll update the comments if something better comes along. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.